To think that like Lil Durk, G Herbo, Lil Bibby, Chief Keef, King Von, Lil Reese, all those guys, all Tato, probably Tato, all those guys all grew up in that same neighborhood, and now they're all like kind of like influencers of the game. It's kind of crazy to think about that. That must have been like a crazy fucking high school if you really think about it, because like, bro, all those dudes are like blowing up now, like type shit. King Von's supposed to be like 10 times bigger if he didn't get killed, supposedly. So
bigger than Dirk.
I think so. I think he would have been bigger than Dirk. I think so.
How you like these lemon pepper tenders?
They're pretty good. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
like the crispiness.
Wingstop did a good job. I like Wingstop.
My bad, y'all boys. It's right back. This is bad. What you wanna call it? Podcasting.
No, okay. So, Academic said this is not a podcast. He says.
Oh yeah, it's not a podcast, y'all boys.
He said this is a stream. It's streaming. Yeah.
Correct.
This is a stream.
So I guess on the stream
It's a little different.
we can do whatever we want.
I seen Ack eating like Chipotle on this shit.
Oh, I was gonna ask if Kai ever ate food on stream. If Kai ever ate food on stream.
Yeah. It was eating pizza on stream with Chris on Rock, remember?
Oh yeah.
Alright, but let me get back to it.
Collaboration with Von called FaceTime, saying that Von showed him a revolver in freshman orientation, an experience which led G Herbo to begin bringing guns to school himself too. Now, King Von was apparently out of control as a youngster. According to one story, Von actually did a shooting on prom night whilst wearing his suit, after literally tweeting out that somebody better not try him in his suit. So naturally, you can imagine Von ended up spending a significant amount of time in trouble with the law as a teenager, with large patches of his most formative years spent inside jail cells. Von went to jail for the first time around August 2010 at age 16 for armed robbery, apparently robbing someone for their car at gunpoint. Something that he would actually later refer to on his song Armed and Dangerous, saying that he was arrested on August 11th, 2 days after his 17th birthday, when he was offered 21 to 45 years in a plea deal. Von would end up spending time in boot camp, an intense military-style juvenile program, ultimately rewarding him with early release. But soon after that initial charge, Von would catch another in January 2011, ultimately spending 15 months behind bars as a juvenile, being locked up between December 2010 and March 2012. And during this time of incarceration, Von's best friend T-Roy would tweet calling for his release. Eventually, in March 2012, Von would be a free man once again, but he was only free for a matter of months, from March to November 2012. But during this time, Von would undergo a transformation, going from a gun-toting stick-up kid to a full-fledged killer after witnessing the death of one of his close friends, which, as he put it, turned him into a demon.
Petconomics Savings Lesson 3. The intersection of pet care and wallet care is Vital Care by
Care is Vital Care by.
I think they're pretty much saying that like Vaughn was like they're pretty much saying that Vaughn was like pretty much this guy. Pretty much what this guy is saying is that Vaughn is like Jeffrey Dahmer. In a sense, yeah.
In some ways, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer isn't the only serial killer that ever existed.
Yeah, there's more.
But cause serial killers all have a different way how they go about, killing people.
Yeah.
That's the thing about serial killers, is that they don't necessarily kill you all the same, or their motives are different, or their reasons why, or how they go about doing it. King Von did it, but it was more like on a hood level, I guess. I'm not saying like undermining him. I'm saying it was more so like he found the thrill.
Yeah.
Out of being a hood nigga, because that's what hood. I mean, he's not the only person who's ever caught a body. If doing that type of life that he's living, you know what I'm saying? He's just one of the people who's like, yeah, he probably was like, I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. All right.
He a demon, bro.
All right, so we're still in the early life. The next segment is called Vaughn Becomes a Demon. Let's see that part.
Before we get into the first murders that King Von was allegedly involved in, I just want to take the time to consider the real reasons why he would be motivated to kill in the first place. Despite covering a lot of gangsters who are hardened killers, it's important to consider the social circumstances that need to exist for a teenage boy to start committing murders. Firstly, these areas where King Von grew up in Southside Chicago, Killer Ward and O Block, are incredibly poor and dangerous areas, with the latter even being described by the local Sun-Times newspaper as the most dangerous block in Chicago. Part of the reason why so many of these gang murders in Chicago go unsolved is due to the failure of policing in these areas. Someone like King Von grew up seeing death and destruction as a completely normal thing. And if the police never come to your area to solve crimes or deliver justice, it's easy to see why you would place more trust in street justice than in the state. Furthermore, you really have to ponder whose fault is it really that somewhere like O Block ended up being so poor and dangerous. While it's easy to blame the gangsters and killers there for cultivating a lawless environment, the city and the state politicians ultimately have failed to create the economic circumstances for someone to grow up safely in these areas. Had there been better economic prospects in the hoods of Chicago, perhaps many of these young men wouldn't have been forced into a life of crime and violence. Furthermore, when it comes to the analysis of King Von's eventual transformation into what some have described as a serial killer, there's actually an argument to be made that geography may have played a part in King Von feeling like he could get away with so many murders. The 70s to the 2000s have actually been described as the golden age of serial murder, and one possible cause for this phenomenon around this period has been cited as urbanization and the concentration of inner city living. Some people have said that putting so many people in such close proximity ends up offering a unique level of anonymity when it comes to committing crimes in these complicated, busy and overpopulated areas. Put simply, this means that in O Block, the sheer amount of people, overlapping gang conflicts, and normalization of violence on the streets means that somebody like King Von could kill multiple people without attracting too much attention to him personally. As sad as it is to say, in the eyes of the cops, a victim is just another casualty of the gang war rather than a specific crime that could be solved. And it's these circumstances that were the perfect conditions for a young King Von to begin killing people in his community with minimal consequences. And whilst King Von was in jail, gun violence had raged on between the Black disciples from Wick City and the rival gangster disciples from St. Lawrence and Eberhard Avenues, or STL-EBT. And during this time, while King Von was incarcerated, a 15-year-old gangster disciple from rival block by the name of Tuka was murdered. Real name is Amadeo Gregory. Tuka was shot dead at a bus stop on the 600 block of East 63rd Street on the 12th of January 2011 at around 6:48 p.m. It was around that time that a masked gunman jumped out of a vehicle, shooting Tuka several times. Tuka was hated by his rivals from the Black disciples.
We didn't see him as a serial killer until after he passed away with all the murders that came up. Well, we knew he probably had some bodies, you know what I'm saying?
We know he did something, yeah.
It wasn't until after he got all these bodies that
it's like,
saying,
okay,
he's a serial killer. Like, this dude is killing people. But you have to you had to really see it, and this documentary is shedding so much light on that, bro.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, I mean, King Von definitely.
Who do you blame though? Who do you blame for that situation?
No, he's definitely, and I actually shout to Chapler Rock for kind of saying what he just said, because it's the fact that if you really also think about it, what he just said, those neighborhoods aren't getting people to be supporting them and looking out for them, and as far as the justice, police, and the law enforcement, if things are happening in your neighborhood and police isn't even, I don't know what, showing
reacting,
up or reacting,
or they're reacting slowly, yeah.
At some point, you're gonna just police yourself.
That's true.
And find ways to join communities, gangs. That's how gangs form, because most times not. Gangs form because things are going on and people have to team up to kind of, have camaraderie and kind of
survive. It's survival of the fittest, yeah, because it's if there's nobody kind of lead you and tell you what to do in those, couple seconds, people are going to take advantage of you. So in those minutes that police don't come, but.
And these are we're talking about underfunded areas, poor.
Yeah.
Poor living situations. People, like you said, people live in all clans. You see
overpacked,
look at. Have you ever seen section these houses, how they look?
They're high-rise apartments.
High-rise apartments, everybody's living next to each other,
yeah.
All clans.
That's how kind of how Jeffrey Dahmer's house was.
That's what makes serial killing a lot easier, because that's what they were explaining.
He said it was the golden era.
Yeah. Because we were getting to a place where in those neighborhoods,
that's great.
Everyone's living together. It's a community. You could kill somebody just don't know who did it, because at that time,
no cameras in the hallways.
Exactly, but it's a little different now.
Yeah.
as you can see. But I mean, Vaughn, man, he the thing is, he passed away before he could even deal with anything, which is like, he already got his, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure he's probably better off, like, you know?
He had a lot of enemies.
I'm just saying, he would, I think one of these